Hey guys, it's Lina. Welcome to my channel today. So I want to share a layout I created for paper issues, and this is for the March sketch. And you saw the sketch there in the beginning, and the sketch is designed, how many times can I say sketch? The sketch is designed by Amy Coos, and she's also on the Paper Issues DT. And it's an awesome sketch, and I had to play along this month. And the paper collection I am using is from Chamel, and it's her latest one, Little by Little. And I wanted to, the reason why I chose this collection is because there's purple in this collection. And I feel that a lot of companies don't include the color purple often. I feel like it's one of those underused colors by manufacturers. And if you have little girls or even big girls, you know, it's a color that appears often in either, you know, clothing or toys or accessories and whatnot. And I just have a hard time. I've had these pictures ready to scrap for months now, but I've never been able to use them because, yeah, I've never been able to use them because the paper collections, the latest ones that I've gotten, didn't include purple, so it was a little discouraging. And so when Chamel's line came out and it was ready to be ordered, I snapped it up right away because it has purple in it, and so it's fantastic for that reason alone. So the sketch shows that there is a trio of pictures, and that's what I went with because I already had these 3 printed. So it was like this collection and the layout were all meant to be together. And it's of my youngest daughter here. And she's just playing with her toys. This was early morning. She's still in her PJs. She's still in her onesie, and she's playing with one of her toys. And she was just so happy, and I just snapped these pictures, and I wanted to document the entire, it's not an event, but I just wanted to document this. She's always such a happy baby. So the sketch itself has many layers to it. And it's a lot of, not so much matting, but actual papers, like background papers. And I like that because I could keep my photos pretty simple and not overly matted like I sometimes do. But at the same time, I still am using many papers because of the background. So I decided that I was going to make this kind of like a film strip sort of layout as far as like the pictures go. So I decided that I was going to use white cardstock and just mat the photos for simplicity, and so that the colors pop and not just get washed out with all the background papers. And then that center picture I popped up on foam dimension sheets. So I just doubled that up. And it's pretty thick, and you can see that I'm doing that there. It's pretty thick and it's pretty big, but I like dimension on my pages. I feel it adds a lot of height and texture, and I like it. I know that my albums get a little bulky, but that's life. It happens. And I'd rather scrap the way I want and use more albums than, you know, not be entirely happy with what I've created, right? So that's my theory. I know a lot of people don't like to add bulk and dimension, but to each their own, right? We're all different scrappers, and we all scrapbook differently, and yeah. So let's see. So I'm still working on the background mats. They're not really mats. They're just background papers. And my photos are ready to be glued down and mounted. So I use both my hot glue gun and my ATG tape gun. So it all depends on my mood and what's closest and actually what I'm using them for. If I'm using, my hot glue gun usually gets used when I'm using it for adhering like the dimensional foam. And that's mainly because I have a hard time with my ATG gun sticking it on. It doesn't work very well. I know I see some people and it works perfectly for them, but I just can't get mine to glide over the foam sheets. And I never know what to call that stuff, but I can never get it to glide over the foam sheets properly. So instead of just frustrating myself, I just pull out my hot glue gun and adhere it down that way. And right now I'm going through the ephemera, which is all super cute. But it just so happened that the papers that I used, the ephemera that I wanted to use, it didn't clash, but it was just all the same color. So I had to kind of like break away from it and not use the ephemera that I wanted to in the places that I wanted to. I'll save them for another layout. But all the ones that I wanted to use, like I wanted to use, if you can see in that top right hand corner, that aqua heart, and I wanted it to go over the photos. You'll see I kind of play around with it for a minute in a couple seconds, but it ends up going away because it just kind of blended in, because that background aqua is the same color, and it didn't work. I felt like it didn't work. So I opted to go with the florals, which I like, and I feel they add a bit of femininity, and the layout is really not feminine in terms of I want to say style. It's very linear, and I think the florals just add that little bit of something extra. Like the stars are not really girly at all. Like they're not just for boys, but I'm just saying on this layout they don't add any softness. They add great color, but they don't really add any softness, and I just felt like the florals were like my best bet in going. And so I'm using the stickers there from the collection, and they're called Hello Joy, and they're the ones that actually come or are made to go with this collection. Now you can use whatever you want, but I just happened to use those ones. I had them there. And I decided to go with Best Life, because this kid really has the best life, and that's what we want for our kids, right? So it's not a complaint by any stretch, but you know, she is such a happy kid and has like the best life. So there's you know, no shame in documenting that, because I think as parents we all want that for our kids. And so in the thickers pack there's also foam stars, and I'm using that to embellish my layout as well, because there's already stars on the paper, and I just thought it was a great compliment and a great way to show them off in a different kind of color and allow them to pop that way. Right now I'm playing with the stickers, and these are the sticker accents, and this is 6x12. I don't know why they call it a 6x12. I know the shape itself, but if you open up those papers, that sheet, it's actually a 12x12. So I pick little pieces out and just kind of use the pieces that I feel fit. Like I don't want to overcomplicate this layout, and I don't feel like I do. But it was hard. I know I say this in every video, but it was difficult not to just use everything. You know, I have a tendency to over embellish sometimes, and you know, I want to stick everything down on the page, but I just can't, because then I end up not liking it. Like there's a fine line for me between over embellishing and getting it just right. So yeah. And in a few minutes, you'll see that I pull out, there they are. I pull out my Tim Holtz ideology, small talk. So I pick out, those are like those tiny words, and I feel like I just love using them so much. I picked out the white ones, and just pick out the ones that I feel fit with my actual layout and like the message I'm trying to convey in the photos that I'm using. And then finally at the end, I'm just still sticking stuff down. I'm going to pull out my Heidi Swap Color Shine in the gold, because what layout of mine would be complete without, you know, paint splatters. And that's pretty much it. I call my layout done. And so head over to the paper issues and see what the other ladies have created. Hopefully you'll try this sketch yourself. And post it in PIF. So PIF is Paper Issues Friends and Family, and that's our Facebook group. So hopefully you'll stop by and play along. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.